with Chris Corbell and Katrin Kern, talking about how to make toasts without completely losing your cool or blowing your cool entirely. And we'll talk about some of the worst toasts ever made, including like Debbie Downers, also known as the world's most depressing New Year's Eve toast. I want to hear that one. Remember, you're listening to News Radio 850 KOA. And Chris, good morning.
Good morning, Rick.
And thanks. Katrin, good morning.
Good morning, Rick. How are you?
Cold.
Cold. Okay.
Yeah, let's see. Now, where are you? 323? Where's that?
That is Los Angeles, Los Angeles.
I think you being a guy, you'll understand exactly what I'm about to say. We hate to shop.
I'm so grateful for the Internet, just for that.
Thank God for the Internet. Thank you, Amazon. Like 20% of the population just gets high for shopping.
Wow.
Katrin, would you like to add something to that?
Well, I guess that sense of acquiring something new to make yourself glamorous, to improve your image, is never a downer.
Again, we're talking with Christopher Corbell and Katrin Kern. Makeatoast.com. Now, do you have a list of great toasts? Is that the idea on that website?
Actually, it's completely the opposite. We believe everyone can make a great toast. And we offer information on how to make it yourself.
First of all, let's talk about toasting and how not to do it, which begins with, of course, many martinis, which would put you in a position to either not speak or be run right out of town. Don't let him get up! But nevertheless, I would think that would be pretty much the clue number one. Don't drink heavily if you've got to be the guy to raise a toast.
Yes, self-editing is a tough one. What were you going to say, Chris?
I was just going to say, I think Rick's talking about what we call the tipsy toast. Do you want to?
A tipsy toast, yes.
Yes, the oh my God, did I just say that toast? Yes, that
or
would
even
be
worse, the next day. I did what?
Right. Yes, that could go there too.
Yeah.
It would be the moment when maybe the champagne or the martinis just make every wild thought that's in your head flow out of your mouth. And our advice is, instead of doing that, maybe enjoy a few drinks, but not too many, and find the extra shots of courage in your spirit of celebration and the sense of the occasion, and let the spirit move you to have that courage to say the things that are in your heart, and not rely too heavily on the alcohol, because then it's the alcohol talking.
I always feel that St. Patrick's Day is the Olympics of toasting.
It is here. And not so much in Ireland. St. Patrick's Day is actually a holy day. Here in America, on the other hand, we've translated the sucker into how to keep Jim Beam alive. So, it's another way of celebrating. But let me ask you, you've got a list here of New Year's toast terrors, including Debbie's Downers, also known as the world's most depressing New Year's Eve toast. Now, tell me about this one, please.
Okay, I came up with the. If you ever watched Saturday Night Live a few years ago, Rachel Dratch would play this character named Debbie Downer, who just could always suck all the life out of a room by just reminding us of all the horrible, terrible things that are just absolutely true about life.
Well, this is true. That's why you don't think about them.
Yeah. And, if you're going to look back on the year, it happens. People lose their jobs, people lose loved ones, all sorts of things go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not saying, hey, just live in ignorance of that. But it's a party. And one of the real great themes, as I said to you earlier, about New Year's Eve is just a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
And a sense of hope and a sense of optimism.
Christopher Corbell and Katrin Kern talking about holiday toasting. Chris and I were talking about going in about how the three great toasting times during the holidays. First is Thanksgiving, of course.
Yes.
Then Christmas, Hanukkah, or Christmas.
Christmas
That's
Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa. That well-known holiday throughout all of continental Africa. And then, of course, you got New Year's, and we were talking about how New Year's is kind of fun because it's the release valve from the last year, really.
That's great. I love that. Yes.
I mean, but think about it. Why are you just going completely berserk? Because I'm alive. I made it.
Yeah, I made it to the end.
I think really when you're thinking about toast, every holiday has its themes.
Yeah.
And certainly one of the really closing the book on a year.
On a year, yeah. And
you know, I mean, no matter what went wrong that year, there's always going to be something that went really well. Anthony, his point actually kind of reminds me of what Katrin and I consider to be probably the meanest kind of toast, the New Year's Evil toast, as we like to say.
New Year's Evil.
Yeah. Make the cackling laughter while I say that.
Yes, ha 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 ha, evil.
I mean,
and your little dog too. Anyway, so yeah, well, and or the ones that congratulate themselves.
Oh, that's even, you know, there's the two worst right there. Those are the great offenders of all kinds.
Yeah, the one blasting everybody or just raising themselves up to demigodhood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Too much love for one person themselves and too much hate for the others.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of that. You know, and you think, did I miss something along the way? I mean,
it sounds like it also hit on the 2 years too long toast.
We'll get
the last thing about the New Year's Evil toast. If you're going to say something about someone, you never know who might hear it or who it might get to them through. So you got to say something nice.
Yeah, well, and you know, of course, all our grandmothers always say, if you can't say something nice about someone, just shut up.
Yeah, they say that.
Toasting, makeatoast.com, and some of the good ones and the bad ones, what to do and what certainly not to do.
So it was a terrible toast, but it had a great result, is what you're saying? No, I've never heard one of those before, but I have heard a story from a wedding planner about a bride who left a wedding in tears after the best man's toast. So hopefully that didn't happen at this wedding.
I mean, not to sound like a voice of authority, but, you know, probably the most important audience you have when you give a wedding toast is the actual bride and groom. My God, Eric, that's wild.
Wow.
Chris actually has a very specific piece of advice for people in this situation, don't you, Chris?
Yeah. We basically say if you're going to go to a wedding, skip either the cocktail hour, eat a hearty meal at least just before the reception itself.
You know, and what happens a lot these days, having been a maid of honor and a bridesmaid recently, is that actually the bride and the groom might be inclined to have a drink around the time that they're getting ready for the wedding. And basically, if you're in the wedding party, and I don't know if this is the case at your wedding, obviously, but what happens a lot now is you're being offered drinks all day long as the day progresses. And if you have to be the person getting up there and giving the speech and the toast, you really need to choose. What Chris and I have decided, you need to choose 1 point before the ceremony to have a drink, or you may have one drink or part of a drink during the actual reception, but you have to eat food with it. And Chris actually has an even more extreme piece of advice. I'm talking about, you know, Chris, in the blog post that we wrote about.
Well, you know, I don't want to be too graphic either, because like yourself, Eric, I'm trying to make sure that I don't upset anyone's sensibilities, but as you probably, you know, the Romans and the Greeks had a way of keeping their diets down.
Oh, yeah, the vomitoria. All right, and guys, thanks so much. Makeatoast.com is the website. Chris Corbell, Katrin Kern, thanks so much for being with.
Thank you.